Boys and girls, what is actually going on right now with the MCU Spider-Man 4 script? Again, for those of you who didn't see on the channel, I have reported that the script is currently being rewritten and may be potentially getting delayed as they just cannot settle on a script. And we kind of thought with all the rumors and news that MCU Spider-Man 4 had only had like one script rewrite, but it looks like there have been multiple iterations of the script that have been really wacky and some crazy stuff going on. Again, it is being said here, the original plan for Spider-Man 4 was to feature a street-level showdown in which Spider-Man and the Punisher team up to take on the Hulk. Again, this is being reported by multiple different people, and I'm just, what? Like, you guys know me, I've personally been asking for so much more Hulk. I think that one of the biggest reasons of the MCU's genuine downfall up until now, where it looks like it's having a bit of a revival, is because they didn't focus on any, like, good characters. They made movies for characters that no one really cared about, like the Eternals and the Marvels and all these things, right? And even though this has previously worked with the Guardians of the Galaxy, they just did it in a time where no one really cared, and they were hiring bad people to write these movies and direct these movies that just probably shouldn't have been doing so. It was very obvious that for the MCU to continue to be successful, they needed to find characters who could replace Iron Man and Captain America, and they just never did. Until now, it looks like we're going to be getting Fantastic Four and some more Spider-Man stuff, all of these things, right? But there are still characters out there like the Hulk who have been criminally underused in the MCU, who should have been the new main characters, given new main stories, and it just never happened until now, where you can really see that Marvel are trying to do every possible situation to have Hulk be I think a main character in the future of the MCU going forward. And because it's really hard for them to make a Hulk solo movie, it looks like they're doing other ways to try and incorporate Hulk into their movies, because obviously for it to be a Hulk solo movie, I think like the rights are shared between them and Universal, so it's a bit of a pain in the ass, and it looks like they're just trying to shoehorn him into other movies. And I don't know what his significance is with Spider-Man. Again, I don't remember him ever having too much to do with Spider-Man in any of the comics or anything like that, especially Spider-Man with the Punisher as well. Like, how many characters have we seen Spider-Man team up with? Iron Man, Deadpool, Daredevil, the Fantastic Four. When has the Punisher and the Hulk ever been these big significant characters in Spider-Man stories that are not to do with the Avengers? Like, what are they actually trying to cook up here? I'm not too sure about. And this is weird because this is also interesting that we also got the other report that talked about on this channel that Scorpion and Shocker were supposed to be included in Spider-Man 4. So we can go over the assumption that these are the same, these are different scripts, right? That one of the, scripts had them as the villains, the other one has had Hulk as the villain. But I'm liking to think that this was the same script, because I think, yeah, like, it just sounds like this big far-fetched idea to have Hulk as like the main villain and have no Spider-Man villains there. Like, what is going on? And I don't know if we are ready for Hulk to be the villain of anything just yet. We need to start to see Hulk eventually move on and start to become maybe like not a villain, but get towards more of that World War Hulk story, which looks like we are going to be getting. Again, they said that, rumors have said that Hulk is going to be a centerpiece of the next phase, alongside the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man. So, in saying all of this, we do need to see some really cool Hulk stories like World War Hulk. I don't want to see Hulk as a villain terrorizing New York City with Spider-Man teaming up with the freaking Punisher. Like, what's the Punisher? Like, the Punisher's a great character, but I can't see the Punisher looking the Hulk dead in the eyes and being like, hey, you can't do what you're doing, and the Hulk just Batista bombs his fist into the Punisher and kills him. Like, what a crappy story that would be. I don't know what they're doing here, but I know they're not cooking. They're not cooking with that script. I just think we need to have it does need to be street level, but also multiversal. They need to find the perfect mix, especially considering we are in the multiversal saga. It would be awesome to have Scorpion as the villain. It would be awesome to have, Shocker as the villains. But there's going to have to be some other thing to deal with it. And from what we've heard on the channel as well, symbiotes are going to be getting introduced potentially in Spider-Man 4. So, yeah, I just think they can do a lot of awesome things with this story. And it can be a really awesome overarching story that goes for 4, 5, and 6. I just don't know where they're going with the Hulk here. It doesn't make any sense there. Another report to also talk about that I have spoken about on the channel before as well is that it does look like Hulk and Wolverine movie will officially be happening. It's not confirmed if Hugh Jackman will be the Wolverine, but this is going to be taking place in the Mutant Saga. And from the rumors, it could be most likely Hugh Jackman, which I still think is really cool because, till you're 70, and I think he can actually do it. He is in that great shape. But yeah, if you're going to do a Hulk story, do a Hulk and Wolverine story. Have your own movie for that, which you could probably get away with. And I'm sure Universal, you could come to some agreement with that. And I think that would be a great story, a great movie that everyone wants to see. Because at the end of the day, if I remember right, the Wolverine was made in the comics to go up against the Hulk in one iteration. So if you focus on that big comic piece and you turn that into an awesome movie, it'd be way better than seeing Hulk as a villain of a Spider-Man movie. No one wants to see that, Marvel. So some really cool news here for Hulk fans that they have desperately, I think, wanted for a long time. And look, I love the Hulk. I'm not as big as the Hulk on some people, but even I have been wanting to hear this news for a very long time. But there is a report going around right now that does say Marvel Studios is reportedly interested in developing a World War Hulk film and is actively searching for a director. George Miller has been in discussion with the studio regarding the project. Now, interesting we talk about George Miller here because George Miller looks like he's actually actively getting involved with Marvel. And obviously George Miller has done a ton of really great productions like Mad Max Fury Road, the first Mad Max movie, obviously Furiosa, Happy Feet as well, like some really, really good stuff. And he's actually met with fellow Australian Chris Hemsworth to potentially discuss directing Thor 5 pretty early on in Phase 5 of the MCU. So obviously after 2025, 2026, and even early 2027, Marvel don't really have too many movies kind of lined up on what they are actually planning to do. And with the last Thor movie being an absolute train wreck, Chris Hemsworth has really said he wants to do a more serious tone Thor movie that's going to be really good. Again, George Miller is 79 years old, but I still think with some of the movies he's done that have been pretty decent, especially with Fury Road, a lot of people absolutely loving it. Not only would it be really awesome to see him do Thor 5, maybe end of 2027 or something like that, but how cool would it be to see if this movie was all successful and all good and Marvel have the faith in him, let him do a potential World War Hulk film. Now, I'm not too sure how they'd go about it because from reports I've talked about on the channel as well, this would be an Avengers movie and it would be called Avengers World War Hulk. And the real reason why it would be called an Avengers movie first and foremost is I believe Universal still own all rights to, the Hulk name, and the Hulk being a standalone name for a movie, the Incredible Hulk being a standalone name, all of that type of stuff. But I think if I have heard right, Marvel could get away with doing it as Avengers World War Hulk. So I think that's why Marvel would maybe go down that direction. But yeah, it would be weird not having the Russo brothers do an Avengers movie, but also kind of cool maybe just to get a different taste from a different director and see what's going to be different. Because at the end of the day, by the end of, Doomsday and Secret Wars, we're going to have 6 Avengers movies, and, all 6 of them have been directed by only 2 directors. Oh, I guess 3 if you count the Russo brothers, you know what I mean. So maybe it would be cool to have a guy like George Miller, see if he can helm an Avengers movie and have it as a World War Hulk film that would have a lot of action and would be absolutely insane. Again, I've talked about on the channel before, Marvel do look like they're trying to have Hulk as a future main character and incorporate him as like probably a main character for the mutant saga alongside the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man, because we know, yeah, Marvel are going to be focusing on their main characters, and they really didn't even focus on the Hulk that much in the first phase. The second phase, the multiversal saga, we know they didn't even really focus on Hulk that much in the first saga. The second saga really hasn't had any Hulk at all other than like She-Hulk. So the third saga, I think you really have to have Hulk as a main character, because people are kind of forgetting that he was like a part of the holy trinity of him, Wolverine, and Spider-Man for Marvel at one stage. So yeah, we got to start seeing some more Hulk stuff. Again, we know that the original Spider-Man 4 script looks like it's kind of leaked and that Hulk was supposed to have a massive part in it, which thank God they're not doing that and they are rewriting it, because that sounds so stupid. And when we need Hulk projects, we need actual Hulk projects. We don't need him to be shoehorned into a Spider-Man story, which makes no sense. I want to see the World War Hulk story. I want to see the reported Wolverine vs. Hulk movie that's been theorized for a while that could be coming in the multiversal saga as well. Again, I want to see all of these things. And I know people don't like Mark Ruffalo as much anymore, and a lot of people are saying he looks too old and he is too old to play Banner. That is kind of true, but also a lot of these stories are really just 90% Hulk predominant, like a World War Hulk story. I think even Wolverine vs. Hulk, I don't really think Bruce Banner has big parts in those stories, especially World War Hulk. So if they wanted to, they could really not have that much of Ruffalo at all. They could have Ruffalo in the movie for a little bit amount and just have him go and advertise the film and do the marketing. Again, there's always that way to shut the critics up on that and just finally give us an actual Hulk story. So I'm interested to see. I think George Miller would be an interesting director to take this helm. Again, he is old, so I would just suggest, well, let's do Thor 5 and see what happens, see if that's good. But if it does work, yeah, World War Hulk would be awesome, and then future plans for some other Hulk stuff, like a Wolverine vs. Hulk film would be really awesome. But again, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest gaming content, movie content, all of the above. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.